Chapter 11. Chloe didn't react that strongly, but leisurely stuffed her 236D meatballs into her bra, and glanced at Serafina provocatively. As if saying, "Sorry, this man is sweating like rain on me, don't be too heartbroken." A second-rate star also ran to masquerade, and was still hanging around Theodore. 7 or 8 out of 10 had dark motives. Serafina sat down on the chair with her legs crossed, her high-slit skirt opened wide, revealing her beautiful long legs. Even Chloe had to exclaim. She laughed slowly. "Theodore, why are you so nervous? We slept together for 10 months, but I have never brought this up to say anything to you." Theodore was fumbling with his zipper, and when he heard her say this, he almost broke the zipper. His face turned pale as if he had swallowed a fly. Chloe was so angry that her face turned pale. Theodore had never been with a girl for more than half a month. How could this girl have such magical powers? Seeing that she was not angry at all, dressed beautifully, with a great temperament and appearance, Chloe felt extremely defeated. Could it be that she was a young lady of equal social status and his childhood sweetheart? After much difficulty in getting this rich young master, Chloe panicked. "Didn't you say you don't have any other women?" He blushed. "She has nothing to do with me." "But she just said she slept with you for 10 months, who is she?" Would he shamelessly tell that actor's sister that she was his twin sister? Would he shamelessly say that she was in her mother's womb for 10 months? So embarrassing. Why did this comet fly into his house? "You disappoint me." Chloe immediately burst into tears, grabbed her bag and wanted to rush out. "Chloe." At this moment, he was like a grown man, wanting to chase after the girl he loved. Serafina felt goosebumps all over her body, adding fuel to the fire as she walked towards Chloe. Changing her tone to a naive and immature high school girl, "You've been through so much in life and you still seduce a young man, do you have any shame? My Theodore is neither a director nor an investor, he won't give you any benefits." Chloe had really let Theodore chase her out on purpose just now. When that time came, this brat wouldn't be able to interfere wherever she went. But Serafina's words completely pressured her. After all, she was a famous star, this brat had said so. If she stayed here and didn't leave, then she would truly be shameless. But she still held on to a little hope that seeing her being wronged so much, Theodore would definitely be heartbroken and chase after her. She rushed out in an even more sorrowful manner. As she had expected, Theodore really wanted to chase after her. However, "Theodore, don't go." Serafina's voice sounded both coquettish and resentful, as if she was telling Chloe. However, the way she looked into his eyes was extremely vicious. Sweeping her leg and punching him again, she grabbed her brother's neck tightly, and he fell down with a thud. So the 1.8-meter tall guy could only watch helplessly. It was obvious that he was just a little bit closer to catching that star's sister, but in the end, his sister jumped out of the way, and was knocked down onto the sofa by her. He was so mad that he wanted to die. He really wanted to punch the sister on top of him away. But now he couldn't even speak properly, he could only groan in pain. Although his sister's strength wasn't great, her suppressive movements were very precise, her 2 small elbows crossed in a cross shape and clamped around his neck. He was about to be murdered. He really didn't want to live anymore. Why was a tall and strong man like him constantly being knocked down, kicked, pushed down, and pinned down by a thin and frail woman like her? "Oh my God, Earth is so dangerous, let me go back to Mars." Chloe reached the door, but Theodore didn't chase after her and hold her hand tightly like she thought. She looked back, almost dying of anger. She hadn't even left yet when the two of them had already fallen onto the chair, entangled with each other. Their heads were close together, they were definitely kissing passionately, his hand was still squeezing her hips. What a heartless person. Serafina's high-slit skirt completely revealed her long, white legs that were wrapped straight up on his thighs. What a flirtatious, lewd woman. Chloe gritted her teeth in anger, and left in a huff. Thomas had just arrived, and saw Chloe storming off in a rage. He was puzzled, and pushed the door open to take a look. Oh, Theodore was really good, he could actually entangle a girl with such a beautiful figure. Thomas narrowed his eyes, although he could only see her figure, but he had many years of experience. This girl must be a good product. The neck was smooth like porcelain, the waist was small enough to be hugged with one hand. The most charming thing was the pair of long, smooth, white legs. This girl even took the initiative to take down the Playboy master Theodore. Thomas scratched his chin. This kind of girl was hot and exciting. Seraphina felt that after Chloe left, someone else came, so she turned her head to look. It was Thomas. Now that she loosened her grip, her younger brother was pressed down by her, so suffocated that his cheeks were red. He immediately happily gasped for air, almost coughing to death. Thomas was surprised. Looking at this situation, wasn't it just passionate? No matter how he looked at it, it looked like murder? Regardless of whether it was murder or not, Thomas did not care about his brother Theodore in the slightest. His eyes were fixed on Seraphina, not because she was beautiful enough to make even dogs turn their heads like Vivian, nor because she had an innocent beauty that could seduce any man like Lily. As long as it was a slightly decent girl, Thomas would be horny as usual. Not to mention Seraphina was a real beauty, and a small beauty with beautiful legs that made people think dirty thoughts. After staring at Seraphina for a long time, Thomas came to a quick conclusion. This girl was still very young. Theodore had played with her and kicked her, so she came here to cause trouble. She was both pitiful and adorable, Thomas thought to himself. Let him comfort the wounded soul of a young girl. Theodore stood up. He did not want to argue with Seraphina in front of Thomas, so he walked out with a dark face. Seraphina was stunned. If she let him run away, her night here would be in vain. She quickly ran after him, pulling his hand. Where do you want to go? Come back to me. Theodore's patience had long reached its limit. Tell him, has there been any younger brother who went to a bar to have sex with his new girlfriend, and was caught by his real sister, who sat next to him and commented? Has there been any older sister who pretended to be her younger brother's girlfriend to provoke her real girlfriend into leaving? Has there been any older sister who pressed her younger brother down and strangled him to death, and made others misunderstand that the two were being intimate? His face had really been thrown away time and time again. He saw her still pulling him, irritated, suddenly used force, and pushed her hand away. Get lost. After all, Seraphina was also a girl. Her strength was not as good as his. She was pushed back by him continuously, almost falling. At this moment Thomas stood behind her to support her. Thomas shamelessly wrapped his arms around her waist, asking with concern, "Are you okay?" Her face was ugly. She angrily pushed him away, and continued to chase after Theodore. Theodore! Hey! Thomas saw that she wanted to run, grabbed her hand. He is very promiscuous, only I am faithful. She didn't waste her breath, aimed right at his crotch, and kicked him. Ah! Thomas screamed in pain, his face pale as he held his important part, rolling on the ground. Her face was cold as if covered in a layer of frost. If you dare to touch me again next time, I will castrate you. After saying that, she ran out to chase after her younger brother. Theodore quickly walked into the parking lot, angry as if he had been kicked by a cow. To be honest, he didn't like Chloe at first, but she was very good, beautiful and gentle, and a second-rate star, considered to have a successful career. The key point was that she was infatuated with him. When he and Emily were still together, Chloe liked him. Emily was no different from him, one foot in many boats, except when in bed, she was not gentle and feminine at all. On the contrary, Chloe often sent messages asking about health, confiding in feelings, etc. Such a sweet attack was something a man could hardly resist. Chloe was very obedient, listening to him in everything. Even when he went to the bar, a public figure like her followed closely without saying a word. Seraphina made her angry and left. He could not accept it for the time being. It was not that he had deep feelings for her, but a girl who always went his way, suddenly stopped caring about him, would be very uncomfortable. No matter what, he had to chase after her and take her home before talking. But before he could take a few steps, the hateful voice of that damned sister rang out from behind him, "Stop right there." Of course he wouldn't stop. "Do you believe that I will kick you out?" Of course he believed it.